that what you're doing is bad or it's not working for you. You just don't want to do anything different. And not wanting to do anything different continues to cause that bondage to close in on you even harder. And what you've got to understand, see, because the reason that a lot of people don't want to do anything different is because it takes work. It takes work. You won't change. You're going to have to work to get the change. Now, the key is, and that's why we're looking at faith like gravity. That's why we're focusing on this, because, see, faith is not the absence of work. Faith is the presence of a particular work that coincides with the belief of the doer. Faith is the presence of a particular work that coincides with the belief of the doer. In other words, you believe that something's going to help you. So when you believe that something is going to help you, there is a work that you'll have to carry out in order for that you're believing in to help you. So you're looking at something and see, truth be told, that's why some of you have been chasing rabbits. You believed that this would help you, so you go running after it. Only to find out after you zigged and zagged and dipped and dodged and done all of those things that it still didn't help you. Still didn't work. So now you're right back to square one, except for you're tired and out of breath. So it didn't actually help you. It didn't work for you. What I need you to see is this. Turn with me to Proverbs 10. Proverbs 10 and verse 22, because I need you to see something first before I show you in James 1 about understanding the belief, the work, the presence of a particular work that coincides with the belief of the doer. See, because you've got to recognize that when you go to do something, see, if you set out to do something and you know that it's going to work before you start doing it, you all of a sudden have got a different tenacity about you. You're no longer hesitant. You're no longer, hesitating as you take steps and make moves. You know it works, so you're ready to go on and do it. You're hungry because you recognize, I already know this works. And see, I'm trying to get you to the point that as soon as you see something in this word, I'm trying to get you to the point so that as soon as you see it, you run towards doing it because you believe that it's going to work. You don't have to go talk to a big panel and another group of people and be coerced and be convinced. As soon as you read it, you say, he did it for them. He'll do it for me. Because he wrote it. And that's what I need you to see. Because in Proverbs 10 and verse 22, it says this. And y'all have heard this here at Ecclesia, but we need to look at it again. Proverbs 10 verse 22 says, the blessing of the Lord, it maketh rich, and he addeth no sorrow with it. He's saying, when I bless you, there's going to be no sorrow with it. Not during, not after. See, that's what you got to begin to start thinking. Because, see, some of y'all been calling stuff blessing. The Lord bless me. And then you fussing and crying about the same thing that you said he blessed you with 2 days, 2 hours, 2 minutes later. And what you got to understand is that if he blessed you with it, it ain't going to be no sorrow with it. That's where you got to begin to get the mentality to understand some things of when you recognize when he says it's a blessing, it's a blessing. So what you've got to begin to embrace is when he calls it a blessing, see, you got to get to the point where you call blessed what he calls blessed. See, that's why I'm wanting you to make sure that you're constantly in the Word. Because if you're constantly in the Word, then you're not going to call something blessed that he's not called blessed. And then, watch this, you're not going to call something cursed that he didn't call cursed. So the reason I needed you to see that, now turn with me to James 1. Because in James 1, verses 22 through 25, we began to come up on something that I got to get you to have inside of you all day, every day. It's in James chapter 1, beginning at verse 22 down through 25. Says this. It says, but be ye doers of what? The word. Now remember, I told you, faith is the presence of a particular work that coincides with the belief of the doer. So look at what it says. Be ye doers of the word and not hearers only. Deceiving who? Yourself. Deceiving your own self. All I got to do is believe. Yeah, right. You're going to have to put some action to go with what you believe. And what he's trying to show you is that when you believe this, you'll do this. When you believe the word, you'll do the word. So if you believe the word and you do the word, you're going to get the results of the word. And then after you get the results of the word, now there will be no sorrow because your belief is right, your actions are right, and your results are right. So everything is right from start to finish. And then when everything's right from start to finish, your focus is then going to be, and this works. This really works. So since this really works, let me see if I can find something else in here. That's right. That when I go do that, that works just like the last thing works. The next thing you know, I got these building blocks going on that I started using this faith in doing the works for my relationship. I use this faith in works about my finances. I use this faith in works about my family. I use this faith in works about all of these things. And now all of a sudden, I'm starting to see different results. Now the one thing that you got to understand is this. You can't piggyback ride on somebody else's faith. Don't work. And that's why when the scripture says, can two walk together except they be agreed? That's Amos 3:3. He's saying, can two walk together except they be agreed? What he's trying to show you is if you're believing, but then who you're connected with is not believing, fixing to have a little bit of trouble here. Fixing to have a little bit of trouble here. Now, that's not saying that they can't change, all right? Because once again, there's going to be something that's going to change their belief. They may have to see you do something else in your belief, and after they see you do that something else, that will be the thing to trigger them to say, wait a minute, all this stuff keeps changing for them, but it's not changing for me. Let me see and begin to think about changing my ways, because once again, be ye doers of the word and not hearers only. So when you speak it to someone, until they do what you're speaking from the word, they're not going to get the results of the word, because at that point they're just a hearer. So you can speak it, And that's why I want y'all to understand. See, faith requires you to speak to things that have to follow suit with what you speak. See, a human doesn't always have to follow suit with what you speak. You know, like you ain't always followed suit with what was spoke to you. You know, like that time you was hard-headed. I said, no, I ain't doing that. And then, when it turned out in shambles, man, I should have done that. But that's what you got to understand, see. They're not going to always just respond to what you're saying. Now, God will have you to speak to some folk, just like he did Pharaoh. Moses has to go to Pharaoh, and God tells Moses, before he gets to Pharaoh, I want you to go say this, but he's not going to listen to you.